Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sopamanxx. I hope everyone's doing good. And I love to play Red Orchestra 2. That's not here what I'm going to talk about today, though. Today, as you probably saw in the cover, I want to talk about a little character that some people know and some people don't know about, called Wings of Redemption, real name Jordy Jordan. That's his name. Who cares? That's public information at this point. I think that's the name of his YouTube channel at this point because I think he was looking to rebrand, if I'm not crazy. Obviously, that didn't work because everyone knows who he is. And what I wanted to talk about, according to the cover of the video that I made, and I don't even have notes for this, this is just a couple of things that I did research on and things that I already know about the guy. But what I wanted to talk about was about a few things that I wanted to clarify, which I think are very important to get the clear idea about. Wings of Redemption is terrible at Rainbow Six Siege. You might be thinking, the hell is that sound? Whatever. You might be thinking, well, yeah, duh. I mean, there's nothing crazy about what you're saying. But it's kind of amazing when you think about something. This guy has, at minimum, between 10,000, maybe 15,000 hours, maybe even more hours than that, playing the game since it came out. I don't know when it came out. I know it's been out for a long time, and I know it's had a lot of updates, and it speaks a lot about the longevity of the game that people still play it, and it's very well appreciated by a lot of people, which I think is super cool. But not here to talk about that. I'm here again to focus the idea on the fact that Wings of Redemption is terrible at the game, like really bad at the game. For a person that's had between 10 to 15,000 hours, maybe more. Let's say between 10 and 20,000 hours, which is a long, long time for something. In his own words, I'm quoting here, but he said it directly. This is not paraphrase. I could have a PhD in Rainbow Six right now. And the only positive that I can give about him, the only positive that I can give about him, not as a person, he's a horrible human being. And there are enough videos out there that cover his pedophilia, his constant lying, narcissism, the fact that he married his wife for insurance, the fact that he didn't go to his to his grandmother's funeral because he wanted to play games, the fact that he ditched all his friends, he burned every single bridge. He's a terrible person. I mean, that's not even the point of discussion. That's already well known. That he killed a cat by putting him under a bucket, that he kicked a dog, that he had a dog called the N word, like Nigger, you know. He had a dog called N word. There's audio of him kicking dogs. His wife has cucked him. He has been caught lying about different types of pedophilia, of child porn that he has watched. I'm not going to call it CP. It's child porn. He has talked about child porn like at least 30 times in his entire career, which is 30 times too many to talk about. All that is out there. So if you want to look it up, Wings of Redemption, there are already lots of channels which are great, like Breaking Banquet, Wings 007, Wings of Sigma, Wings of Redemption, Professional Predator. I'm just thinking out loud. So shout outs to all those channels because those channels are amazing. Wings 007, I'm part of that Discord, and I love that shit. It's really funny to watch all the people interacting there. Not even the point. The point that I wanted to make was how, and this is the title of the video, not why, how can you be so bad at something that you have been playing for such a long time? And basically, you can grind it down to two reasons. Again, I'm not questioning his knowledge about the game. That's a different thing. He knows the game, he knows the kids, he knows the maps. That's something. That's the only thing that I can say in his favor. And that's not a lot to talk about, by the way. That's not like that highest peak in the world to be able to say, like, hey, by the way, I did all this stuff. Not really that amazing. Like, if you play any game, you're going to know the names of the locations. You're going to know the ideas. You're going to know the layout. If you played Counter-Strike, if you played Global Offensive, if you played Counter-Strike 2, if you played all the old version, 1.6, you knew the maps. You knew where to go, what to do. Most people, even if you were good or bad at the game, you knew what to do. You knew the names of the map. Dust 2, Office, Aztec, etc., blah, blah, blah. And all these other maps, and they were fun. People had fun in those maps. I had fun in those maps. I played it, and then I gave up on it because I hated the mechanics of the game. it's fine. He knows his stuff about the game. That's something that he can have. He can have that medal as much as he wants. He can like take that to the store. That's fine. But the problem is this. He has again been playing between 10 and 20,000 hours the same game, and he's still terrible at it. And there have been so many compilations and live streams. The guy does live streams occasionally and then immediately deletes them afterwards because he's afraid that the detractors and the trolls are going to use it to somehow get back at him, which I think is perfect. I don't condone bullying unless you earn it. Like, I'm not okay with people getting bullied. I don't think many people are. I'm not okay with bullying people unless they deserve it. Wingsofredemption is one of the few people on Earth that can say they deserve it. They treat everyone like shit. They're hypocritical. They're narcissistic. They're assholes. They betray their friends. They lie constantly to their close people, to their so-called friends. He doesn't really have friends. He lies to his wife. He lies to his friends, or former friends in this case. He lies to other players. When evidence is presented to him, he always like twists the truth to try and like explain that he didn't say that, and that you can show video evidence next to him and he's still going to lie to your face. Again, it's important to get this straight. But then you get to the real meat and potatoes of this, which is 20,000 hours, and he consistently plays like trash. He gets more on average last and bottom score than he does in the center or the top. I have seen maybe like 5 or 6 streams, not all of it, by the way. And when I say I watch streams, I mean like 2 minutes total, where I'm just like looking at all the parts where he's showing his scoreboard, and he first round maybe he'll get 2 kills, and then afterwards bottom, complete bottom, like just 0. The only times where he has ever done good is when he's playing against a team that's worse than his, or he's getting carried. And this is a consistent thing with Wings. He always gets carried by better teams. He is consistently, in most of the games that he plays, the worst player on his team. This is not something that I'm saying. You can go check out his streams. You can go check out when he's live streaming. Look towards the end. He's going to get like maybe 2 wins and like 5 losses in a row. And most of them, he's going to be at the bottom of the scoreboard. And I managed to figure out a few reasons. I'm not counting them because I'm not writing this, but these are some of the reasons. First one, from his own mouth, he's a camper. If you don't know what camping is when you take a strong position, in theory at least, a strong position in a map where you have to force the enemy to attack you first, and the idea is that you're going to have the advantage of being able to set up an ambush or a kill zone, if you will, so that when the enemy enters, he can kill them. In and of itself, I wouldn't say that there's a problem with the tactic of camping unless it's done to the extreme that Wings uses it. Wings camps 95% of every time that he plays the game. Now, you might be thinking, well, even if you're defending and attacking, you have to be on the move. You cannot just sit in one location and just wait for nothing to happen, because you're going to be predictable, which is one of the reasons why he always gets low performance. Because unless the enemy is coming towards him, he will not move out and help his team, who can be more aggressive. There's a thing called active defense. When you're actively defending, you're not just sitting in one little fortress, in one little square, and trying to defend that position. You're supposed to be moving around, checking around, looking behind you, in front of you, on top of you, under you, all the time, to make sure that the enemy's not coming, and that you can maybe get the drop on them when they're coming towards you. Because if they're expecting you here and you come from the other side, they're not going to be expecting you. That's aggressive defense. This is a concept that Wings doesn't understand. If you ever watch the 1v1 between Syndicate and Wings, where Wings like a bitch. By the way, Wings has lost every single 1v1 that he's ever played. I think it's important to clarify this. He's lost every single 1v1 he's ever played, which is embarrassing. He lost against Syndicate, where he was talking trash about him. So then someone said, hey, let's play it on the map. And they were playing Bog. And then Wings said, okay, but you can't use this weapon. So what the fuck? Already we're going with rules? What the fuck? Like, let the guy pick whatever weapon he wants. You can pick whatever weapon you want. And he's like, no, you have to pick the M16, and you can't use this, and you can't use that. Syndicate agrees. He beats him, and then we have that historical event where everyone just discovered like this guy gets like super angry. Fuck! Why the fuck you stream that shit? Calls his friends the F word. Calls his friends the F word live on stream, and then gets ridiculed for everything because he's such a loser and he's got no self-esteem and he's a narcissist. He cannot accept in his mind that he's terrible. To this day, I think he's still defending that matchup and say like, "I'm better than Syndicate," even though he lost. Again, this is because he's delusional. Lolcows like him are fucking nuts. That guy is crazy. Wings of Redemption is insane because he keeps like twisting the truth in his mind to like justify that he could lose. It's like, I can't lose. Wait, I lost because he was doing something that I didn't agree with. Again. And he still got his ass kicked. Then recently, another player called Diamond Skittle, who used to be a friend of Wings online, they were playing together, and then Diamond Skittle was basically like, "Wings, shut the fuck up, you talk too much, you're not really helping out." And then he banned them from the team. He banned them from the team. I don't know why all the other cocks on his team didn't just say like, "Dude, what the fuck is better than you?" But you know, there are losers in the world, and these losers gravitate towards Wings. Losers gravitate towards Lolcows like flies gravitate towards shit. Don't ask me why. It just happens. Look at Darkside Phil's fans. Look at Low Tier Gods fans. These people are crazy people that donate insane amounts of money to them because these people are getting scammed by these fucking assholes and scammers. Nothing special about it. Then that's the first part. So he's not good at the game. He knows the information, he knows the location, but he camps. He camps too much, and what does that mean? When you're camping too much, you're not going to get as many kills as everyone else. You're not. It's just as simple as that. That's one factor. The second factor, and this is again coming straight from I want to say the horse's mouth. In this case, he's just a pig. But coming straight from that fucker's mouth, the second thing that he says is that kills don't matter. When I heard that, I was talking to the computer, just screaming almost at the computer, just being like, how can he say something as so stupidly wrong as that? He said kills don't matter, wins matter. In a game where you have to kill people to win. And I was just, wow, I was like, wow, this guy is like severely mentally fucked. Like, I understand that he went only to 10th grade and he never finished school. And his idea of intelligence, this is no joke. I wish this were hyperbole. I wish I were joking. I'm not. This is legit. And this is the scary part. His idea of intelligence is asking you for two questions. What's 12 times 6? And what's a predicate? No joke. Like, homeboy, what's a predicate? If you're so smart, you know what a predicate is. A predicate is normally what's after the verb in a sentence, or from the verb onwards in a sentence. 12 times 6 is 72. I think. 12 times 6? 72, yeah. That's it. Sorry. Oh, damn it. That's it. That's his measure of intelligence. Again, this is important to clarify because this person is really special. He's a walking fucking Dunning-Kruger syndrome. This guy is so stupid that he thinks he's smart. This guy is such a fucking genius that he's like, wow, man. I'm so smart because I know what a predicate is and I know what 12 times 6 is. It's Dunning-Kruger. He starts something and then the more he learns, the little he realizes, then you reach a peak. But he's so stupid in his mind that he's a genius. It's ridiculous, really. It's absolutely pathetic. That's in his mind. He's like, I'm going to give my take on something that I have no idea about. Like, that makes him smart. That's his life. He lives a miserable life in his trailer home with his really fat and really ugly wife that he has mocked in the past. He has mocked his current wife in the past before they were boyfriend and girlfriend because she was always stalking him and trying to be and get together with him. And when insurance was necessary, he married his wife. Again, I'm getting sidetracked, but I think it's important to set up just the kind of asshole and loser that he is because he's a loser. He's a total loser. Like, he insults other people. Recently, he did a stream very recently as of the time of this video where he said, like, man, you're a waste of time because you don't have your life set up. This guy doesn't even know the fucking trailer where he lives. He's made like at least $1 million in like the last 10 years, which is a lot of money. And he doesn't have anything to his name. He doesn't even own the fucking trailer that he lives in. He only owns like 50% of it. It's insane. That's why I'm so like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what I'm feeling right now. It's just like frustration, I think. It's insane. But it's crazy to me. that this guy is so nuts. So he's a camper. That's why he doesn't get a lot of kills. And the second thing, like I said, he also doesn't focus on killing because he says in his own words that kills don't matter. That is factually wrong, Wings. You stupid fat sack of shit. That is completely, utterly false. You have a gun. What are you going to do when they come over? Yo, man, let's talk. What's 12 times 6? No. You have a gun, you shoot at people. And you know why he does that? Because that leads to the third point. Because he himself says, I get carried by my team. And he gets carried by his team. 100%. Every time, every single match, like again, I've seen like 5 of his streams in total, and never complete streams that last like 2-3 hours. Sometimes he just gets angry and shuts it down in the middle of it because he's not getting money, because this is his job. Begging to people for money is his job. Because when you're on the internet and you're asking people for money, that's begging. It's not a contract. A contract means you work 40 hours, I pay you this amount of money. That's a contract. What they're doing, what these fucking Lolcows are doing, they're begging people for money. And Wings and Darkside Phil are the biggest beggars on the internet right now. I'm pretty sure. And they get the money because they meet these, like I said before, these mentally handicapped people that donate lots of money to him. And some people that donate just because they want to keep the train going of patheticness. They want to see more of these losers. I've met people like that. I have videos on my YouTube channel, past videos, which I'm not going to link. It's on the channel, but of me talking to people that have donated money to Darkside Phil and to Wingsofredemption. And they're like, yeah, I just do it because I got the money and it's funny. It's their money, man, but still, these people are nuts. I would never donate money to a person that I hate just to watch him squirm. That's pathetic. There's so many good things to talk about in this case. But that's the other reason. So he says, like, kills don't matter, which is factually wrong. So he could have 0 kills, the rest of his teammates could have 100, and he doesn't understand. That's why he's always at the bottom of the scoreboard. That's why he's so terrible, because in his mind, if he misses, it doesn't matter because his team can carry him. That's teamwork when you're there shouting out orders all the time. Another reason why is prepotence. Wings, in his mind, he's a narcissist. Narcissist means they love themselves. They love themselves so much that they cannot find flaws in themselves. And when they try to find flaws in themselves, it's ironic. They're like, man, I'm overweight. Man, I'm fat. Man, I hate my life. But deep down, they don't accept that. They don't accept it. In their minds, they're amazing. Like, Wings, in his mind, is a fucking god. He's the best at sex with underage girls because he said that he wants to sleep with underage girls. He said it. It doesn't matter if he counters it. This is the truth. He has said it multiple times. He wants to sleep with underage girls. The age of consent, according to Wingsofredemption, should be 12. Fuck that. I don't even want to get into that. I'm going to skip that. And it's very hard for me to skip points, but this part I don't want to talk about because that's already too much for me. It's too much that this fucker wants to talk about that shit. Like I said, the other problem is his narcissism. He is completely narcissistic. In his mind, he's perfect. So when he plays, even if he's at the bottom of the scoreboard, he's telling other players how to play after he's dead. He's telling, like, Army, move to the left. Army, shoot at this person. Army, do this. Army, do that. Fucking fat sack of shit, retard. You're dead. Shut the fuck up. Please, just keep your fucking fat trap shut, man. I know that you use it all the time to eat and to talk trash. But just when you die, shit, I died. That's it. And then you can give a couple of call-outs that help the team. And this leads to the next point, not the second point, the next point, which is this fucking sack of shit. I'm using so many cuss words right now. It's because that's how I feel about him. He's such a terrible human being for so many other reasons that I can't even begin to mention. There's like hours and hours of compilations of this. Look it up on YouTube. Type Wingsofredemption. You're not going to get his channel. You're going to get the tractor channels because that's the shit that gets views versus his streams which get like 200 views, 300 views, and massive amounts of dislikes. But the next point is that he's really bad, tremendously bad at callouts. Callouts in the game is when you tell people with certain equipment in the game. I don't play Rainbow Six. Some of the people on my Twitch stream have told me that I should give it a try. I've seen it, and it's really like, yeah, It doesn't look bad. It looks good. It's like more tactical Call of Duty to me. That's what it looks like. But there is a lot of equipment in the game that people can use to check out the enemy, to see where they're at, to see where they're hiding, to see where they're moving, to see what they're doing, blah, 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 blah. All of this stuff, which is fantastic, by the way. I think it's great. But Wings does not know when to keep his fucking disgusting snout shut. He will talk for hours and say nothing. A good call out goes like this. He's using the heartbeat monitor or the movement monitor. So he sees through a wall and he sees an enemy. And he can say this. A good call out would be this. Enemy on hallway 2. Enemy on hallway 1. From the right. Done. Hallway 1 enemy. Try to reduce it. Try to condense it. Try to make it as direct as possible. Wings will do this. Enemy on the left. Enemy on the left. There's a person coming. Hey, there's a person coming on the top side. Hey, there's a person coming on the top side. Hey, by the way, there's a person coming on the top side. He will repeat the same fucking thing 5 times. And his teammates, who are a bunch of cucks, everyone that plays with Wings of Redemption, everyone that plays with Wings of Redemption is a cuck. Because Wings treats them like shit, and they like it. They're cucks. No other word for it. They're losers. Just as much as the losers as well, less losers. You're still a loser if you're friends with him, but that's up to you. I guess that's your decision to be ridiculous and just a loser, to get abused by that guy. And people probably get off on it. I know that there are people with weird fetishes on the internet. We all know this. And these people, they don't care. They're like, Chi God, Army Vet, all these people that play with him, they get treated like crap by Wings constantly. Constantly. It's never his fault. It's never Wings of Redemption's fault. It's always a teammate's fault. Always. Every time. Every time. I think I've heard him say once, I messed up. Once. One time. Once. Out of like all this many times. And it's embarrassing. If you want to give callouts, concise, direct to the point, and then quiet. Not, hey, there's an enemy to the left, there's an enemy, hey, Wings, you got to turn to the left, be careful, homie, there's a guy behind you. Like, shut the fuck up. One call out. Because the more call outs that you give, you're hurting your team. This is how fucking bad Wings of Redemption is at video games. He's so bad that he, through speaking, makes you worse. The best advice that you can give is to mute us. Mute him. If you're playing with him, you mute him, and then you forget about him. Because he's going to give you stupid callouts. And he uses that thing. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is that, well, again, next point, is that he's a very passive player. And by passive, I mean that he usually dies first. He usually dies last in every game that he's playing. He's never the first to die. Again, the few times that I've seen him, he rushes forward. Oh, I got something in my ear. Sorry. He rushes forward. He gets like the first round, he might get like a kill or 2 kills, and that puts him at the top of the scoreboard. Then immediately afterwards, his teammates just start to get like 5, 10 kills. Like he's stuck at like 2 kills or 1 kill. And he goes to the bottom of the scoreboard consistently because he's a very passive player. He's the last one to die. In most of the games that I watched him, he's almost always pretty much like, I want to say a percentage, 85%, 90%, 9 out of 10 games, he's always the last to die. And you might be thinking, well, there's nothing wrong with that. That means that you're good. But then you see him play, and you can hear everyone else around the house, the apartment, the map where they're playing. Everyone else is dying, and Wings is still here, doing nothing, just camping one position, waiting for the enemy to show up, and they never do. And then, when they finally show up, they either flank him or they flashbang him, and then they kill him. And then he complains. He says, like, oh, come on. And then he says something stupid like, oh, I wasn't expecting them to come through that door. Then why didn't you fucking go somewhere else, you stupid fat retard? How can you be so bad? How can you be so terrible at video games that you don't know how the fuck to do that? Man, you're stupid. Another point. There are a lot of points. I don't know how many. I could keep going forever, I think. But another point, and this is a very important one, is that his reflexes and his aiming are terrible. Those are the two things, very important. His reflexes and his aiming is terrible. Again, very important to clarify. His reflexes and his aiming are terrible. I was watching a Breaking Banquet video. Breaking Banquet is one of the detractors of Wings of Redemption. Even though it's not really a detractor, he's kind of just like a person that shows, that proves all the lies that Wings of Redemption does in every stream. And there was one part, I don't have the link to it. I can link it maybe in the description, where he was fighting against an enemy. He saw an enemy come in through a wall with one of the sensors, a movement sensor, I think, or maybe it was a heartbeat sensor, I'm not sure. And he had a shotgun. And Wings, no joke, bam, 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 bam. 7 shots. 7 shots. Missed all of them. And then got killed. And then he said, like, man, she was roided up. She was with adrenaline or something. I don't know what the fuck he made up. But that was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Just the fact that he's got terrible aiming on that. And then afterwards, he lies. He lies again. He lies to the people that are watching. And he says, like, I shot her 3 times and I missed. I don't think he says he missed. I think he just says, like, I shot her 3 times and she didn't die. I think that's what he says, which is, again, a lie. He missed 7 shots. And I think he got, like, one, like a little bit of buckshot on her arm once, because he's that terrible at the game. Everyone makes mistakes in a video game, even if you know where the enemy's coming from, unless you're like a professional that does this for a living, which is not what Wings does. Remember, Wings is a professional e-beggar. That's what he does for a living. He begs people for money. That's what he does. Again, very important. Let's clarify this. He's not a good player. He's not a professional. He doesn't get paid to play. He gets paid to be pathetic, essentially. But he doesn't get paid. He begs people. He's like, man, if the stream doesn't get like $20 in the next 10 minutes, I'm shutting the stream off. He holds his own stupid-ass audience hostage. That's embarrassing. It's sad. And the fact that people still come and want to donate money to him, it's embarrassing. In fact, most of the comments on his videos are, stop donating. And I agree. You donate to DSP, to low-tier god, to low-tier bitch. That's not low-tier god. God of nothing. God of being a loser. And to dipshit pig, aka Darkside Phil, aka Phil Burnell, aka the biggest loser in the world, there's a problem with you. Like an actual mental problem with you. Just so you know. And finally, the last thing to close off this diatribe, his reflexes are those of a sloth on Dramamine. He is absolutely slow as shit when he's shooting at people. This is not an excuse of the control. This is not an excuse of lag. This is not an excuse of anything. Wings of Redemption has very slow reflexes. You can see it, again. You can see it on the compilations. When an enemy, this is legit, like you can see an enemy, and let's do a test right now. When you see, I'm going to move my hand here. And when I do, I want you to pause the video. As soon as you see my hand, I want you to pause the video. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go. How quickly did you pause? Maybe like if you're waiting for it, because you were waiting for it, obviously, you're like, okay, click. You're like, click. That. Maybe very quick reaction times depending on the person. I don't know what the standard is. Wings will do this. 1. And then shoot. Wings' reflexes are so like atrophied that he doesn't know how to fucking play the game anymore. It's embarrassing. At one point, like, I think he calls out Army Vet, who's an actual Army veteran, who still plays with him, even though at one point Army Vet said, I'm never coming back to playing with you, and like a bitch, he came back later. Because he's a bitch. If you're talking shit about a player and then you come back to play with him, you're a bitch. You're an absolute bitch. Nothing to say about it. Absolutely nothing. But then, when you see Wings and you do the hand reflex thing, like they do the same thing when you're like going to a driving test or something. Like they normally have like this, like you're driving and you have to press the brake with the same reaction time. I guarantee that Winks would fail that test because he's so fucking slow on his reflexes. Like, when I see him and he's playing, again, in compilations, in the few streams that I have watched of him, when he's actually playing and dying, you will see players go into his other side when he's camping, and he will just like, and won't shoot, and then he will shoot after the other guy has already shot him like 5 or 10 times. He is that bad at video games. He even does pre-shooting, where you enter an area shooting so that you can get the enemy. If there's a sector, you're already holding the trigger, so you're as you're entering the room, and he still fucking dies, and he still fucking misses, and he's completely carried at this point. It's embarrassing. It's fucking shameful, man. This guy sucks so fucking much. It's embarrassing. It's amazing, and these are the reasons. Again, that's the name of the title of this video is, how is Wings of Redemption so bad at Rainbow Six? It's not why. We know the reasons. He's terrible. But how can you be so bad at something that you have been invested, in his own words, like a PhD almost, into Rainbow Six, and still be so fucking terrible at it? These are really the questions. What can he do to improve would be the solution, but I'm not even going to go into that. Because these Lolcows, with their narcissistic thoughts, it's impossible to make them better. Because in their minds, remember, these people are gods. They're perfect. Narcissistic people, like Darkseid feel. It's the trifecta Lolcow heaven. It's like low tier bitch, dipshit pig, and wings of fat. Also known as carried UAV. Shoutouts to carried UAV. And then there are people who are actually good, like Diamond Skittle and his detractor community, which I love. I love the detractor community so much because they're always funny. Sorry. The fuck? I don't know what this is. Sorry. I'm going to mess about something not important. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, Wings of Redemption is a terrible player. A very, very, very bad player. Again, look, let's be honest. If it's not your job, you're playing for fun. In fact, most of his teammates have said that at one point or another to him, who's like really trying to get to diamond and whatever the next rank is. Like, he plays like shit, and he keeps talking about how good he could be and would be. All ifs, cans, but, and shoulds and woulds, but nothing real, because in his mind, he's perfect. He has said multiple times, like, if this happened, I would be, but nothing ever happens. It's a condition, a hypothetical condition that never fulfills itself. It's like, man, if I did this, I would be better. Do it. I'm not gonna do it. Go fuck yourself. Matter of fact, ban Soberman XX. That's what he does. He bans people that disagree with disagree with him. Like, if you give him a concise point of view, he will ban you for it. He cannot improve. That's why in this video, this is the first video, probably the last video that I'm ever gonna make, which I tell the people there is no solution to this. He will never get better because in his mind, he's already the best. This analogy has been done by movies already in the past. You know the typical trope of like like a lot of movies have this trope of like a sage or like a very wise person. They're always like pouring out a cup of tea to a person, and that other person's like talking blah 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 blah, and then the person just keeps the sage keeps pouring it the water or the tea whatever, and it keeps overflowing, and everyone's like, dude, what are you doing? Stop. And he says like, this is your brain right now. How can you hope to learn if your mind is so filled up with all this nonsense? This is Wings. His mind is a fucking thermos that's fucking sealed, that doesn't have any air, any escape of air. It's a thermos that's full to the brim, that cannot have any more liquid, because his mind, he's perfect. It's a fucking thermos, like surrounded by titanium walls and lead walls. It's nuke proof. He will never improve because in his mind, he's the best. That's what I wanted to talk about. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is SopamanxX signing off. If you like the video, I'm just going to say it, fuck it. If you like the video, like it and subscribe. And I'm going to keep posting more videos about different stuff. And I think that tomorrow or in another, maybe in 2 more days, I'm going to make another video about something that I found on the internet, which I really like. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. Peace out. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care. And I'm going to take off now. Bye-bye. Peace out.